Machiavelli's methods emphasize that true power lies in perception. How others perceive you, how they view your intentions, and how they interpret your actions will determine how much control you have over them. The first psychological tactic in mastering every situation is the ability to control the narrative. Doubt thrives when we leave room for others to define us, but the untouchable person knows that they must dictate how they are perceived. To control the room, to control the situation, you must control what others believe to be true. The first tactic is that perception is reality. Doubt arises when you allow others to define the story, when you fail to control how you are seen. The dangerous thinker understands that how people view you is more important than what you truly are. By mastering the art of perception, you ensure that you control the narrative. Perception is not about lying, it's about guiding how people view you. You create the image you want them to see, and in doing so, you gain control over them. Your actions, your words, even your silence, should be carefully calculated to influence their perception. By managing perception, you eliminate doubt because you define how you are seen, and how others see you gives you the power to manipulate situations to your advantage. The second tactic is that create mystery and leave them guessing. Doubt is a byproduct of predictability, and the untouchable person knows that predictability breeds weakness. The more transparent you are, the less power you have. Mastery over perception involves creating an aura of mystery around you, making others constantly question your intentions. Let them wonder. Let them guess. The more they guess, the more power you hold over them, because uncertainty breeds discomfort, and discomfort breeds respect. By withholding key details and leaving others to fill in the blanks, you keep them on edge, always second-guessing their assumptions, and never truly knowing what your next move will be. The third rule is that control the flow of information. Doubt arises when information is available but unorganized, when it's scattered, fragmented, and unclear. The untouchable person controls how much information is shared, and they do so strategically. Information is power, and the more you withhold, the more control you wield. When you control what others know, you dictate their behavior and reactions. You create the narrative, set the tone, and guide the conversation by giving others only as much information as you want them to have. By mastering the flow of information, you eliminate doubt because you know exactly how to shape the situation to your advantage. The fourth tactic is that create an illusion of choice. Doubt arises when there's too much certainty, when people feel they have no other option but to follow your lead. The dangerous thinker understands that the key to control is not forcing others to act, but creating a situation where they feel they have a choice. But the truth is, you've already manipulated the options in your favor. By controlling the choices available to others, you steer them toward your desired outcome, while making them believe they've made the decision themselves. By presenting options that all serve your purpose, you eliminate doubt because you've made the choice seem like theirs, even though you've already orchestrated the outcome. The fifth tactic is that appeal to their self-interest. Doubt often emerges when people act out of self-preservation, seeking their own advantage. The untouchable person knows that the best way to control others is to appeal to their desires, fears, and motivations. Everyone acts in their own self-interest, and the dangerous thinker uses this to their advantage by positioning themselves as someone who can help fulfill those desires or alleviate those fears. By aligning your goals with their needs, you eliminate doubt because you make it impossible for them to say no. They believe they are benefiting from the relationship, and they will be more likely to do what you want, unaware of the manipulation. The sixth tactic is that speak in terms of their emotions, not logic. Doubt often arises when people try to analyze a situation purely from a logical standpoint, when they fail to take emotions into account. The untouchable person knows that people don't make decisions based on logic. They make decisions based on emotion. By speaking to their emotions, you influence their behavior in ways that logic cannot. The more you can stir their emotions, whether it's fear, excitement, or envy, the more control you have over them. By understanding their emotional triggers and using them to shape your interactions, you eliminate doubt because you influence their decision-making process on a deeper level, bypassing logic entirely. The seventh rule is that create a sense of urgency. Doubt thrives when people have too much time to think, when they feel like they can take their time and ponder their decisions. The dangerous thinker creates urgency, making people feel like they need to act quickly, making them afraid of missing out or being left behind. Urgency forces decisions. It eliminates hesitation and forces people to act before they have a chance, to doubt their choices. By creating urgency, you make people react out of instinct rather than reason, and you guide them toward decisions that serve your purpose. Doubt disappears when people feel they have no time to second-guess themselves. Number 2, master the minds of others and use psychological influence to command power. Machiavelli's methods are rooted in understanding and manipulating human nature. Doubt thrives in uncertainty when people are unsure about what others are thinking or how to predict their behavior. The dangerous thinker understands that true power comes from controlling not just the situation, but the minds of those around them. By mastering the art of psychological influence, you can bend others to your will, getting them to do what you want without them even realizing they are being manipulated. Psychological influence is not about coercion, it's about shaping perception, building trust, and guiding others toward your desired outcome. The first tactic is that appeal to their desire for status and recognition. Doubt arises when people feel insignificant, when they feel their efforts are not being noticed or valued. The untouchable person understands that one of the most powerful motivators is the desire for recognition, the need to feel important and respected. By appealing to others' desire for status, you control how they view their role in a situation. You make them feel valued, seen, and appreciated, which encourages them to act in ways that align with your desires. By using their need for recognition, you eliminate doubt because they will be more likely to follow your lead, driven by the validation they receive. The second brutal truth is that make them believe they are in control. Doubt thrives when people feel powerless, when they believe they have no control over their circumstances or decisions. The dangerous thinker knows that true control comes from giving others the illusion of control. When you let others believe they are in charge, they will follow your direction without resistance. By subtly guiding their actions and decisions, you lead them where you want them to go, while making them believe it was their idea all along. By giving others the illusion of control, you eliminate doubt because they will feel empowered, but they will unknowingly serve your greater purpose. The third rule is that use flattery to influence and manipulate. Doubt often arises when people feel insecure or unsure of their place, when they are questioning their worth or ability. The untouchable person understands that people are highly susceptible to flattery, especially when it boosts their ego. By flattering others, you make them feel important and valued, which increases their trust in you and makes them more likely to do your bidding. Flattery works as a powerful tool for building rapport and influence, and by using it strategically, you eliminate doubt because you gain others' loyalty and commitment without them realizing they are being subtly manipulated. The fourth brutal truth is that create a sense of fear and uncertainty. Doubt often arises when people feel too comfortable or secure in their position, when they do not perceive the risks around them. The dangerous thinker understands that fear is one of the most powerful motivators of action. By subtly introducing fear and uncertainty, you push others into a state of readiness and action. Fear forces people to react, and when others are afraid, they are more likely to follow your lead in order to avoid negative consequences. By using fear strategically, you eliminate doubt because you show others that you are the one who can protect them, or the one they must obey in order to survive or thrive. The fifth tactic is that create competition to drive their actions. Doubt thrives when people feel like they have nothing to prove, when they believe they are in a position of no challenge. The untouchable person knows that competition is a powerful motivator, pushing people to perform at their highest level. By creating competition, whether between individuals or groups, you stimulate the desire to outperform others. You leverage people's natural desire to be the best, to win, and to rise above their competitors. By fostering a competitive environment, you eliminate doubt because people will be driven to act, to prove themselves, and to follow your lead in order to maintain their position in the race. The sixth rule is that use the power of silence to manipulate. Doubt often arises when people talk too much, when they reveal their thoughts, intentions, and plans too openly. The untouchable person knows that silence is a powerful tool. It's the most dangerous weapon in their psychological arsenal. By withholding information, by remaining silent, you force others to fill the gaps with their own assumptions. Silence breeds discomfort, and discomfort leads to action. When you remain silent, you make people wonder what you're thinking, what you're planning, and what you're going to do next. This uncertainty makes them more likely to act according to your wishes, trying to predict or appease your next move. By using silence, you eliminate doubt because your control over the situation becomes undeniable, and people are left guessing your next strategic step. The seventh tactic is that use strategic flattery to manipulate decisions. Doubt thrives when people feel undervalued or ignored, but the dangerous thinker knows that flattering others at the right time makes them feel important, thus making them more susceptible to influence. By offering well-timed compliments, you make people feel special, and this increases their loyalty and willingness to act according to your desires. Flattery makes them feel as though they are your ally, and in return, they will follow your guidance, without realizing they are being subtly manipulated to serve your purposes. Number 3, build psychological barriers and become unshakable. Machiavelli's teachings emphasize that the mind is the battlefield, and the ability to control your psychological environment is the key to maintaining power. Doubt often arises when we allow external circumstances or people's opinions to affect us. The untouchable person, however, knows that they must build psychological barriers, defenses that protect their mind and emotions from external influence. By mastering your inner world, you gain the ability to manipulate the outer world. When you control your mind, your emotions, and your reactions, you become unshakable, an immovable force in any situation. The first tactic is that you must build an unshakable sense of self. Doubt thrives when we question our worth, when we allow external opinions to shape our identity. The dangerous thinker, however, understands that true power comes from knowing who you are and what you stand for. They do not rely on the approval of others to define their worth. Their self-confidence is rooted in a deep understanding of their own abilities, strengths, and weaknesses. By building an unshakable sense of self, you eliminate doubt because you no longer feel the need to prove yourself to others. You know your value and are unmovable in that knowledge. The second rule is that you must detach from the need for constant validation. Doubt often arises when we seek constant reassurance from others, when we feel insecure or unsure of our actions. The untouchable person, however, understands that validation is a trap. They do not rely on the approval of others to feel empowered. Instead, they validate themselves. They understand that external praise is fleeting, and that true strength lies in being able to trust yourself without needing the approval of others. By detaching from the need for constant validation, you eliminate doubt because you have developed the internal confidence to trust your own judgment, actions, and decisions. The third tactic is that you must cultivate emotional control in every situation. Doubt thrives in emotional volatility. When we allow our emotions to guide our actions, we open ourselves up to manipulation and weakness. The dangerous thinker knows that true power lies in emotional control, the ability to remain calm, composed, and calculated no matter what the external circumstances are. Pain, criticism, or fear cannot manipulate someone who has learned to detach emotionally from external events. By cultivating emotional control, you eliminate doubt because you no longer react to situations. You respond with logic, clarity, and strategy, making you unshakable in any scenario. The fourth brutal truth is that you must anticipate others' moves and control the flow of information. Doubt arises when we fail to predict how others will react, when we leave too much room for surprise or unpredictability. The untouchable person knows that to maintain control, they must always be one step ahead of everyone else. By studying people, understanding their motivations, and reading between the lines, you can anticipate their moves and use their actions to your advantage. Control the flow of information, revealing only what you want others to know, and keeping key details hidden. By mastering the art of information control, you eliminate doubt because you understand the situation better than anyone else. and can guide it to your desired outcome. The fifth tactic is that you must never show vulnerability. Doubt is magnified when you expose your weaknesses, when you allow others to see your insecurities. The untouchable person knows that to maintain control, they must never appear vulnerable, no matter the circumstances. Vulnerability is a weakness that others can exploit, so they hide it, mask it, and never let it show. By concealing your vulnerabilities, you eliminate doubt because you remain strong, impervious to manipulation, and others cannot use your weaknesses against you. The sixth rule is that you must build an aura of mystery around yourself. Doubt arises when people have too much information, when they believe they know your every move, your every thought, and your every plan. The dangerous thinker, however, understands that mystery is one of the most powerful tools of influence. By revealing less and withholding more, you force others to fill in the gaps with their own assumptions. When they cannot predict your actions or intentions, they are left uncertain, and this uncertainty breeds both fear and respect. By cultivating mystery, you eliminate doubt because people will be drawn to you out of curiosity, but also because they know they cannot read you like an open book. The seventh tactic is that you must always be adaptable and fluid in your approach. Doubt thrives when we become rigid, when we stick to a single path and refuse to adapt to new information or situations. The untouchable person, however, understands that adaptability is key to maintaining control. They are flexible, able to change strategies as needed, adapting to shifting circumstances and emerging opportunities. They do not cling to one approach if it no longer serves their purpose, and instead, they move fluidly through every situation, adjusting their approach in real time. By being adaptable, you eliminate doubt because you are always in control of your next move, able to adjust as needed to ensure success. Number 4, use strategic influence to manipulate perceptions and command. Loyalty, Machiavelli's wisdom, teaches that the most powerful form of control is the ability to manipulate perceptions. Doubt thrives when people don't fully understand what's happening around them, when they're unsure of what to believe, who to trust, or which direction to take. The untouchable person knows that perception is everything, and by controlling how people perceive you and your intentions, you can manipulate their behavior without them even realizing it. Strategic influence is the art of shaping perceptions, guiding decisions, and ensuring that others align with your goals without resistance. When you master this tactic, doubt vanishes because others will follow your lead, believing they are acting on their own volition, when in fact you have already orchestrated their every move. The first tactic is that you must create the illusion of mutual benefit. Doubt often arises when people believe they are being manipulated or used for someone else's gain. The untouchable person, however, understands that the best way to manipulate others is to make them believe they are benefiting from the relationship. By aligning your actions with their interests, you create a sense of mutual benefit. When others feel they are gaining something from you, they are more likely to follow your lead and serve your agenda. By crafting the illusion of mutual benefit, you eliminate doubt because others will be motivated to act in ways that serve your objectives, believing that they are getting something in return. The second rule is that you must use flattery to establish loyalty. Doubt thrives when people feel unappreciated or when their loyalty to someone is not being reinforced. The untouchable person understands that people are naturally drawn to those who recognize their value. Flattery is not just about complimenting others, it's about making them feel important, valued, and indispensable. By using flattery strategically, you create a psychological bond that builds loyalty. When people feel that their worth is acknowledged, they become more loyal to you, and they are more likely to follow your lead. By mastering the art of flattery, you eliminate doubt because you make others feel emotionally connected to you, ensuring that they serve your interests without question. The surefire. Third tactic is that you must appear predictable while remaining unpredictable. Doubt arises when people feel that they can predict your every move, when they believe they know exactly what you will do next. The dangerous thinker, however, understands that predictability breeds complacency, while unpredictability breeds respect and fear. You must create a balance between appearing predictable on the surface while keeping your true intentions and strategies hidden beneath layers of calculated unpredictability. By being selectively unpredictable, you force others to second-guess their assumptions, keeping them on edge and unsure of what to expect next. This unpredictability gives you an immense psychological advantage because others will be cautious and hesitant in their actions, knowing they cannot read you. By mastering the art of appearing predictable, yet remaining unpredictable, you eliminate doubt by maintaining control over how others perceive you and your actions. The fourth brutal truth is that you must always make people feel as though they owe you. Doubt often arises when people feel that there's nothing to gain from a relationship, when they think their actions or loyalty won't lead to any benefit. The untouchable person knows that to maintain control, they must make others feel that they are indebted to them. Whether through favors, kindness, or strategic exchanges, the dangerous thinker knows how to create a sense of obligation in others. When people feel they owe you something, they are less likely to question your decisions and more likely to follow your lead. By subtly planting the seed of indebtedness, you eliminate doubt because people will be unwilling to go against you, fearing the consequences of breaking the unspoken contract of reciprocity. The fifth tactic is that you must use the element of surprise to undermine others' confidence. Doubt thrives when people feel comfortable or overly confident in their position, when they believe they have control over the situation. The untouchable person knows that to maintain power, they must keep others off balance by introducing unexpected elements into their plans. By using surprise strategically, you catch others off guard and force them to react to your moves rather than planning their own. Surprise undermines confidence and shakes people's belief in their control over the situation, leaving them vulnerable to manipulation. By mastering the art of surprise, you eliminate doubt because you keep others uncertain and reactive, while you remain in control. The sixth rule is that you must appear self-sufficient while subtly relying on others. Doubt arises when people believe they are indispensable to you, when they feel like you need them in order to succeed. The dangerous thinker knows that it's important to appear self-sufficient, to project an image of independence and strength. But behind the scenes, they know how to leverage others to serve their goals. By maintaining a facade of independence, you gain the respect and fear of others, while still controlling the situation from behind the scenes. This appearance of self-sufficiency makes others believe that you don't rely on them, which gives you the psychological leverage to manipulate them into following your lead. By mastering this tactic, you eliminate doubt because people will never suspect that you are subtly orchestrating events to your advantage. The seventh tactic is that you must always maintain control of the conversation. Doubt thrives when you allow others to dominate the conversation, when they control the narrative and dictate the flow of information. The untouchable person knows that the key to psychological control is to always be the one guiding the conversation. By asking the right questions, shifting the focus, and steering the dialogue in your direction, you maintain control of the situation. You ensure that your views and intentions are the ones that are heard and that others follow your lead without realizing it. By mastering conversational control, you eliminate doubt because you are always the one framing the narrative and shaping others' perceptions of the situation. Number 5, control time and use it as a weapon of influence. Machiavelli's teachings emphasize that time is one of the most powerful resources at your disposal. Doubt arises when people waste time, when they allow themselves to be controlled by the ticking of the clock instead of making time work for them. The dangerous thinker knows that time can be manipulated, not in the literal sense but in the psychological sense, to gain a significant advantage. Mastering the perception of time allows you to manipulate situations by making others feel rushed, or by making them wait until they are psychologically primed to act according to your will. Control over time creates urgency, control over others, and eliminates doubt, because when you are in control of time, you shape the flow of events, keeping others off balance and reacting to your moves. The first tactic is that you must create a sense of urgency. Doubt often emerges when people feel they have all the time in the world, when they can procrastinate or delay their decisions. The untouchable person, however, knows that urgency is one of the most effective psychological tools. By creating a sense of time pressure, you force others to make decisions quickly, often without considering all of their options. Urgency makes people act instinctively, driven by fear of missing out or facing consequences. By presenting situations as urgent, you eliminate doubt because others will feel compelled to act. driven by the psychological pressure you've created. You have them exactly where you want them, acting on your terms, at your speed, without the ability to second-guess their decisions. The second rule is that you must make people wait. Doubt thrives when people feel too comfortable, when they have nothing to stimulate their emotions or force them to take action. The dangerous thinker knows that creating anticipation is one of the most powerful ways to manipulate others. By making people wait, you introduce psychological tension. The longer people wait, the more they begin to question their choices and their position, and the more likely they are to accept your terms when the time comes. By controlling when others get what they want, you create a psychological imbalance that makes them more likely to act according to your will. By making others wait, you eliminate doubt because the anticipation builds pressure, and you remain the one who controls the timing. The third tactic is that you must slow down others' decision-making process. Doubt flourishes when decisions are made too quickly, when people act without considering all the consequences. The untouchable person understands that by slowing down the decision-making process, they can exert more control over the outcome. By introducing pauses, questions, or additional considerations, you create a situation where others become more uncertain about their choices, making them more vulnerable to your influence. The more you control the speed of their decisions, the more power you have over them. By slowing down the pace of the decision, you eliminate doubt because you force others to reconsider, question, and second-guess themselves, putting them in a state of psychological indecision. The fourth brutal truth is that you must control the timing of rewards. Doubt thrives when rewards come too easily or too quickly, when people feel that success is guaranteed without effort. The untouchable person knows that rewards must be delayed to create desire and anticipation. By withholding the reward until others have proven their loyalty or commitment, you increase its perceived value and make others more willing to work toward your objectives. By controlling when rewards are given and what they are, it ensures that others remain motivated and focused on pleasing you, waiting for the moment when the reward will finally come. By strategically timing the rewards, you eliminate doubt because people will remain focused on the prize, driven by the promise of future gains that keep them aligned with your vision. The fifth tactic is that you must time your moves for maximum impact. Doubt often arises when people take action without considering the timing of their decisions. The dangerous thinker knows that every action has a ripple effect, and that timing is everything when making your move. By understanding the patterns of others' behavior, you can determine the perfect time to act, when their defenses are down, when their attention is diverted, or when the situation is ripe for manipulation. Every move you make must be carefully timed, whether it's a direct action, a subtle hint, or a strategic pause. By making your moves at the right time, you eliminate doubt because others won't see you coming. Your timing makes your actions appear inevitable, and by acting with precision, you remain unpredictable and always in control of the situation. The sixth rule is that you must create a sense of power by making others wait for your decision. Doubt thrives when people think they have access to your decision-making process, when they feel that they can predict what you will do next. The untouchable person knows that by keeping others waiting on your decisions, they create a sense of psychological tension that positions you as someone who holds the ultimate power. By taking your time, showing no rush, and making others wait for your decision, you assert your dominance. This sense of power, the idea that you are the one holding the cards, forces others to align their actions with your wishes, fearing the consequences of not doing so. By delaying decisions, you eliminate doubt because you reinforce your position of strength and control. The seventh tactic is that you must create doubt in others' minds about their own decisions. Doubt often arises when people are too confident in their choices, when they believe they have everything figured out. The dangerous thinker knows that the key to controlling others is to make them question their own decisions. By introducing subtle contradictions or questioning their assumptions, you make them second-guess themselves. The more you make others doubt their own decisions, the more likely they are to fall in line with your will. By creating self-doubt, you eliminate any resistance they may have had, leaving them vulnerable to your influence and control. Number 6, use people's desires and fears to manipulate their actions. Machiavelli's teachings revolve around the psychological dynamics of influence. Understanding people's fears, desires, and insecurities gives you the ability to manipulate situations and control every outcome. Doubt often arises when people cannot predict their own reactions, when they feel out of control or unsure of how to respond to certain stimuli. The untouchable person, however, knows that people are driven by deeply rooted desires and fears, and by understanding these motivators, they can craft their moves to exploit others' weaknesses while making them feel like they're in control. Psychological manipulation is most powerful when it taps into these primal drivers, and by becoming a master of this tactic, you eliminate doubt because you become the architect of their thoughts and actions. The first tactic is that you must exploit their desire for validation. Doubt thrives when people feel unseen, unnoticed, or unappreciated, when they feel that their worth is not recognized by others. The dangerous thinker understands that validation is a universal need, and people will do anything to be recognized, respected, and praised. By offering validation, you make others feel important and valued, but it comes at a cost. They will be more likely to do what you want because they are psychologically indebted to you. By feeding their desire for approval, you eliminate doubt, because you control their actions through the promise of recognition and praise. When you validate others, they will strive to align with your interests to maintain that sense of worth and validation. The second brutal truth is that you must leverage their fear of rejection and abandonment. Doubt often arises when people fear being left behind, when they worry that they won't be accepted or included in critical situations. The untouchable person understands that fear of rejection is one of the strongest motivators, and they use it to their advantage. By threatening the possibility of rejection or abandonment, you push others to act according to your desires, desperate to avoid being left out or cast aside. People will sacrifice their autonomy to avoid the pain of rejection, and you can exploit this fear to keep them under your influence. By using fear of rejection, you eliminate doubt because people will remain aligned with you, fearing the consequences of defying your control. The third rule is that you must manipulate their desire for security and comfort. Doubt flourishes when people feel insecure, uncertain, or threatened, when they sense that their stability is at risk. The dangerous thinker knows that most people are driven by a deep desire for comfort and security, and they exploit this by making them believe they will only achieve peace or stability by following your lead. By offering comfort or promises of security, you gain control over people's actions. When they believe that their well-being is tied to your decisions, they will follow your instructions without hesitation, desperate to maintain their sense of safety. By playing on their desire for security, you eliminate doubt because they will trust you to guide them toward stability, even if that means sacrificing their own autonomy. The fourth tactic is that you must prey on their insecurities and fears of inadequacy. Doubt often arises when people are unsure of themselves, when they feel that they are not good enough, capable enough, or deserving enough of success. The untouchable person understands that people are incredibly vulnerable to feelings of inadequacy, and they use this vulnerability to manipulate them. By highlighting their weaknesses or subtly making them feel inferior, you control their behavior. When people believe they are not good enough, they will do whatever is necessary to prove their worth, including aligning with your desires. By manipulating insecurities, you eliminate doubt because you make them question their ability to act on their own, thus making them dependent on you for guidance and validation. The fifth rule is that you must manipulate their sense of guilt and responsibility. Doubt thrives when people feel torn between their own desires and the expectations placed on them by others. The dangerous thinker knows that guilt is a powerful tool of influence, and they use it to make others act in ways that serve their agenda. By appealing to their sense of duty or responsibility, you make them feel obligated to act on your behalf, even when it is against their own best interests. When people feel guilty, they will comply with your demands to alleviate the psychological discomfort of failing to meet expectations. By using guilt to manipulate their actions, you eliminate doubt because they feel morally compelled to align with your desires, and they are less likely to resist. The sixth tactic is that you must feed their fear of failure and show them the consequences of inaction. Doubt thrives when people feel they have too many options, when they can't decide what to do or where to go. The untouchable person understands that fear of failure is one of the most powerful motivators. By magnifying the consequences of inaction, you force others to act in fear of losing opportunities, missing out, or facing negative outcomes. By amplifying their fear of failure, you eliminate doubt because they will take action, often without fully thinking through their choices, just to avoid the worst-case scenario. The fear of missing out or failing to act becomes the catalyst for their compliance. The seventh rule is that you must create a sense of competition. Doubt arises when people feel they have no reason to act, when they think they are safe and secure in their current position. The dangerous thinker, however, knows that competition is a powerful force, and they use it to fuel others' desire to outperform each other and prove their worth. By introducing competition, you spark urgency and drive in others, making them work harder, act faster, and fall in line with your desires. Competition taps into their ego and pride, pushing them to prove their superiority. By fostering competition, you eliminate doubt because others will compete against each other to gain your favor, constantly striving to meet your expectations.